ever in my
What did you say?
out of it.
You're out of it. I'm just realizing I'm like going back to June 7th of last year.
And that's legit. It was a good.
Oh, good.
Was
It's a
good day.
cursing one.
Oh, good, because I think we may have done that the other day, and I forgot to send it. So I'm just like I'm in la la land. Can I still blame jet lag after a weekend?
I don't, you can just blame like life overload, I think. I have to say, having a fucking social life again really eats into your schedule every day. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, and belatedly happy birthday.
Thank you very much. That was one of my recent reason to have a celebration, but and to see folks. It's just bizarre how quickly it's like flipped. Like when I planned my birthday dinner, I was like, we can be out on the outside deck and I know everybody will be fully vaccinated, but still, then we're like, it's fucking hot outside. We're all hugging each other, getting drunk.
Yeah, we had a series of dinner parties. We had some friends in town from California, and Kate and Craig came over one night, and then another night we had some other folks who had just come back and like, oh, it's so nice to be out in the backyard again.
Yeah.
More than one other couple, and you can have a sit down dinner and not worry because thankfully everybody we know is vaccinated.
Yep. Yep. Everybody I know. Although I continue to, you work with enough international folks. My Uganda office, I have a colleague who's based in Uganda, and he wrote to me like, school, it's completely out of control again. Schools went on another, I think he said 1 month shutdown. I think he said 3 or 4 of the staff on our programming have COVID currently. It's just like, fuck. So I keep reminding my team, like, let's, we can't skip around like, oh, this is amazing. It's just like the usual old inequity in the world,
Yeah, big
Fucking
time.
sucks.
Yeah, we're nowhere near over it, right? And until the rest of the world is more vaccinated and safer, right? It's just going to keep evolving on us, and it's just going to keep skipping oceans on airplanes.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But yeah, I guess I have a colleague who moved to South Africa, and we had a baby shower for one of our colleagues, and so she was on Zoom, and she said that they got the AstraZeneca in South Africa, which is only 50% effective to the South African variety of COVID. So they're like, do we vaccinate people? Do we not? Do we, I don't know. It's like, can you trade it? Whatever. So she works for USAID now, and she's like, we're just all obsessed with like this vaccine craziness.
Yeah, that's just nutty.
Yeah.
Ugh, how painful.
Yeah. Anyway, but
the thing about that is, Then we hear from people who, I guess not thinking, were making plans to go to Tulum, and I'm like, Mexico? Mexico isn't. They're not vaccinated yet. They're still behind the whole pandemic, management situation. I mean, my Mexican friends are all just aghast at the government and its complete.
Yeah.
You guys are talking about serious stuff, and
we are. You leave it to us, and we just go straight to serious.
Laura, I just want to say that you and I share June birthdays, and it's my birthday week, and I do it by doing as much like fun stuff as I can. So I went to Joe's today.
Basically, what's your program? Eat a year's worth of carbs in your birthday week.
I worked out for an hour and 15 minutes this morning, so I figured that'll buy me like 3 donuts at least.
So when's your birthday, June? Or June? Dawn?
I mean, you can call me June. I don't know. It's on the 9th. So my
Oh.
birth date is actually 6966.
Mine's 6667.
Oh,
I came
Whoa.
very close.
oh man, you and I are connected then, because that's a lot of sixes in our numbers.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what that means, but I think it means cool or something.
So you're 69.
Cool.
1966.
6966. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just popped out here a year before you.
Almost
Yeah.
almost the sign of the devils, you two.
Almost the sign of the devil. But
Yeah.
I go by Joe's all the time, and so I told myself I'm just going to wait until my birthday week. So I just thought this is a great way to start out my Monday. Was to get a
I
bunch of
have to
donuts.
say, on donuts, there was like the high school near my house. I got like a little neighborhood newsletter, and the culinary students were having a donut sale on Friday. And I was the same way. I was like, oh, what a great start to my birthday weekend. I'll go over and get donuts. And then I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you got a lot going on this weekend. You probably don't need to eat a dozen donuts on, on Friday.
This is where our
Even
calories
for
are
a good
coming from.
cause.
You know what
Yes.
we had this weekend, amidst all the hosting of friends who were in from out of town and whatnot, Freya hosted a sleepover. So we had 5 teenage girls in the basement.
Oh, goodness.
And they all had their first vaccine. So we're feeling really thrilled about the way Freya's social life is picking up again. But one of the parents said, oh, and I'll bring by bagels in the morning. I'm like, that sounds great. I don't have to make waffles for 5 kids. And she shows up, and she had made homemade bagels
What?
and showed up with a baker's dozen of like bagels
Damn.
she's been making.
Were
from
they
scratch.
good? Because I'm always a little
They were
suspicious of
excellent.
homemade bagels, because it's like, I don't know, I'll just go to the real bagel store.
No, they were so good. We thought we would serve them to a New York friend of ours and get, that'd be interesting to get his reaction.
Get the rating.
Mhm.
Oh, but they had the right. Oh, lost. I guess Dana.
She said,
bagels or donuts.
"You're eating donuts without me and bagels without me."
She just ran off to the kitchen to get
Just
something.
ran out.
She probably did. She'll come up with this massive cookie.
Did you get hungry, Dana?
Did you get a cookie?
No, I just got lost.
Oh,
Oh, nothing new then.
nothing new then.
Laurel, how was your birthday? I don't know if you already.
It
shared
was very good. On Friday, I had like a whole birthday weekend planned as well. So on Friday,
Well,
and it's just great to be like the weekend that everything really feels like it's opening up. So on Friday, I went and visited a friend who has a 2-year-old, and we went to a playground, and like this is a baby that I love from when she was a little baby. So for me, that's like a lot of fun to go hang out
Awesome.
with a 2-year-old. And then on Saturday, Black Lives Matter was kind enough to host a protest, so I could go like march around in the streets and bang on my drum for a couple of hours. So that was fun.
That's fulfilling.
And yeah, put your middle finger to the
Express.
law, as they like to say.
With the what did you say?
Middle finger.
Middle,
middle
finger
finger.
to the law.
I got
I
you.
have been doing that
No to the po.
morning walk. Jeez.
And then on Sunday we had a work get together for like a baby shower, so it was kind of fun to see some of my favorite work colleagues.
That's nice.
Yep. And then yesterday afternoon I went to the farmers market on Saturday and just looked for recipes with what was available. So I had like a medley of summer salads. So I had a nice asparagus salad and a potato salad and a fennel salad.
Wow.
And 3 of my guests brought cocktails. So like 3 of them independently brought cocktails. So it was like, okay.
That went well then.
Yes, so that went well, except one person had to stay late because they couldn't drive. So it was like, okay, I gotta do the dishes now, but so it was fun. And my best birthday present to myself is I bought a ticket to come to Portland for the block party. Yes.
Nice.
We actually, our first response, we found out through Kate because
Oh.
we got the text. We were there with them when you sent the text. So we were so excited to hear that. So it is for sure.
Yeah, I bought the ticket literally I think I was kind of still drunk from my birthday party when I went in. Like I went in on Friday and reserved it, and like got like a 3-day hold on the fare. And then I was like, oh shit, I don't want to miss it. By the time I went back into like adjust one thing, all the flights are full. Like they're
Wow.
absolutely everybody booked this weekend. I can tell you that.
What are your
I couldn't
travel?
even find a flight to St. Louis. So I'm going to St. Louis over July 4th weekend to see my folks and then flying out to Portland.
It's pretty expensive right now, isn't it? Compared to normal, not last year's normal, but
Yeah, I don't know what normal is for
oh.
Portland. Like, what would you say, DC, Portland?
Well, I don't know about DC.
Between,
I feel like it was 300.
well, Virginia in general, I mean, it does depend on which airport you're using.
Ellis.
Yeah, I mean, it generally costs me anywhere between, if I'm lucky, 450, if I'm not lucky, 650 to go round trip. And then it costs a little bit more to fly into Patrick Henry than it does Richmond. So yeah, what did you end up paying?
Oh, I would say closer to 800.
That's because you
that's
tacked on St. Louis.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
actually tacking on St. Louis was the same price.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, it was basically
Wow.
the same price.
because it's
That's
kind of a
awesome.
connector anyways.
Yeah, it's kind of a connector anyway. And
That's the
I don't know,
most-
it was basically the same price. So
I'd say our tickets
That's a
going
lot.
back to Michigan were about 150 more also.
mhm,
Ugh.
This year, we've never paid over 600.
mhm,
And they were well over 600.
yeah.
We just fortunately, we used a companion ticket, so that kind of brought it back to normal range.
Oh
but
yeah. Uh-huh.
But I would say in general, over the years, if we paid over 500, that was not a good price.
Yeah.
Most
But
of,
it
most
does
of,
feel like, shouldn't things be getting more expensive? I don't know.
well, I don't know. If does,
Like
how does that
I
work?
didn't feel, I definitely felt like, oh, that's a big cost, but it didn't feel like, oh my God, like it feels like,
Mhm.
well, stuff just should be getting more expensive.
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like I hope they're not going to be that
forever, maybe. I mean, I just assumed they
$600 to
were.
$700 for Michigan every year. That seems a little, yeah, based on what we were doing. I don't know.
Screw the parents, I'm not going back.
It's
Well,
worth it
just, I
still.
mean, just everything's getting more expensive, right? Like, I don't know.
I just wondered if it was because of the demand. I don't know really how that works
Mhm.
with airlines. You think that a lot more people are flying than they were, 5
Yeah.
months ago. So, I mean, the prices were so low to Michigan. I mean, I flew back and forth for like $250.
Which
Right.
was, that's,
Right.
So,
but even the prices I looked in September are not this high.
I'm sure if you shopped around a little bit, like I literally got a text from Kate saying like, why don't you think about coming for the block party? And I was like, ran to my computer,
Drunk.
booked it real quick. Then I was like, oh, maybe I should call my parents and tell them I'm coming. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
well, that's
Yeah.
good news. And Astrid, you were able to find the city has done a little bit of a leniency with hosting parties.
They're calling it, I'm just on the website now, actually, they're calling it safe blocks or healthy blocks or something. So it's basically the same sort of block party permit that it used to be, I think. I don't see anything that's a major deviance. I mean, I think what they're saying is there's no, as far as I can tell, there's no limit on the size. But you do have to educate people about maintaining distance, and I think you're sort of, they don't want you to have like 300 people over, obviously.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
but
Lots
they're, but you don't, it doesn't look like they're asking you to describe how you're going to handle food and drink, for example, right? So I'm describing it as it's all going to be YO, and we're not going to do any shared, like, no, we can't do the buffet, right? So we
Mhm.
talked about it with the neighbors, and so we're just going to have like a barbecue. You can barbecue your own food.
Right.
We'll have a keg when you bring your own glass, right? I think that kind of stuff will be okay. But like the usual, where we had all these shared dishes, I don't think it's gonna work.
Mhm.
We'll just bring our own cake.
Bring your own keg. There you go.
Just walk around with it.
Yeah, and I'm not. doing-
Dawn's got to work off those calories.
I'm
just like
not
those
gonna
donuts.
do. I'm not gonna do single serve food for like 100 people. So so that's
No.
maybe we ask people if they're bringing something to just bring it as single serve, like bags of chips or whatever. But
But what are you gonna? I hadn't even really thought about this, but I mean, there probably are people in your circle that are not vaccinated. Yeah. Like you were talking
there
about the
are.
guy in Steve's band.
Mhm. Well, I think we're going to ask people to, I mean, I think you're still going to want to maintain distance and probably wear masks, right?
Mhm.
'Cause if you're vaccinated, you can be a vector. And if you're not vaccinated, then well, then you're playing Russian roulette, but that's your problem.
Hmm.
Mhm.
What is,
But then
how are
you,
they practicing if this guy's not vaccinated?
they're not. Like they've asked this guy who refuses to get vaccinated to just like that's your decision. Just don't come to band practice.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Wow. Rude.
Well, Oregon just released a number that if 130,000 more people get vaccinated, we're at 70%, which gets us gets us in striking range of herd immunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I did think that the data on being a vector was increasingly shown that that's not happening.
It's really mixed. I think it depends on
Maybe it depends on the strain of the virus.
Yeah. And our incidence rate, I was shocked. My mom was asking me, like, what is the incidence rate in Oregon? Because in Germany, everybody's fluent. Everybody knows how many tens per 100,000. And here it's just like, I looked at all these websites going, I can't find this damn number. I think it's 78, but I have no idea. Like there, everybody's fluent. Everybody knows almost what the daily numbers are because all the regs are shifting with the incidence number.
Right.
And here, I'm not that fluent. And anywhere I looked, there was at least like 20 different metrics. I'm like, that's not helpful.
It's even last year, I remember when I was looking at it more, Michigan had a better chart than Oregon did. Like when I was like, oh, Michigan by county, everything was just really clear. When I go look at Oregon,
Yeah, it's by county here, but it's really confusing. Like that's not
yes, and it is, but it's yes.
And in Germany, I guess they're leading with this one number, and everybody knows the one number, right? Like here, it's broken down by gender and race and zip code, and like there's so many different ways you can slice the data. It's difficult to then have the one number in mind.
And when you say incidence rate, what does that mean?
I think it's the 7-day trailing number of, is it hospitalization or diagnosis? I think it's hospitalization.
Yeah,
And
I
you
was going to
want
say, I think it's
under
hospitalization like per 100,000 people or something like that.
Yeah, some like trailing 7-day average of new hospitalizations or something.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still, I mean, DC's not, we're not even at 50% yet in the whole of the district. But
yeah, I guess Oregon is now, I don't know what they're doing. I think maybe they're beginning to do some of the incentives. Like, what was that crazy one? Was it Ohio that had the $1 million giveaway or something?
yeah, Maryland as well.
Oregon does have that, the lottery.
Has the lottery thing, yeah.
By the end of the
and here they're giving away like new TVs and stuff. Like they have not like $1 million lottery, but like you get pulled in a drawing to get a TV or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say get a shot, get a TV. I'm like, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, maybe out. Yeah, there was all this, and there's all this interesting research now on why people have vaccine hesitancy and how you get through. And turns out like one of the more compelling things is just to meet more people that you identify with. Like if it's people who are close to your own demographic in terms of sort of psychographic and racial, demographic, economic makeup. So apparently that's the secret to persuading people. Just the science isn't going to do it for many people.
Yeah, not at all.
It's like, but if my pastor goes or my whatever, my yoga instructor.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to hang out with people that are hesitant to get a vaccine.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like I wonder if we're gonna maybe. I haven't thought about the mechanics. Like, how would you ask people? Right? Do you make everybody show their card now? I don't know.
People get really, really pissed off about that. Why I don't know. I mean, you have to show your passport when you go into a different country.
Right.
Really see
Right.
that difference.
Anybody who's ever traveled internationally will not be shocked.
Right. You have to show like your your,
Yeah,
you yellow fever vaccine. Yeah.
Exactly, and when you get visas, I remember our visas when we moved to South Korea had listed what vaccines we had been given. And
Right.
they complained about that. I was happy not to get cholera. That was awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, so true. I wish there was I had malaria when I traveled to Africa, and of course there's no vaccine for malaria, but it's like, it makes you appreciate, it's like what a great gift to humanity vaccines are.
Yeah.
When you come down with something where it doesn't exist, it's just miserable.
Yeah.
I had typhoid when I was 18 on the AFS. That was a rough one.
Yeah.
What's AFS?
I was an exchange student, American
it's
field
AFS,
service.
okay.
Yeah. So I went for high school year abroad and I got typhoid at the end of the year.
Yeah. Emily was, man, she's a tough little cookie. She got scarlet fever when we traveled to Australia when she was 3.
What? Because she was not vaccinated yet?
She hadn't had any kind of she hadn't had an MMR by then. I
Right.
think that's what it falls into that category. But then she had her pertussis, and she ended up when she was 7, she had whooping cough. And yeah,
Wow,
so
she had it all.
she did.
That's
Scarlet fever
terrible.
was scary
Wow.
as shit, man. We were in a little surfing village in Australia, and the medical care there was really different than what we are used to. And she was very sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's just, you want to get vaccinated.
And sometimes with those kinds of illnesses, doctors just don't have the experience anymore. So, like they don't see that many cases of it. So.
And it was weird too. You think, where the hell did that come from? And from the incubation period, judging how long it took her to become sick, we're like 99% sure she picked it up probably off a tray table on an airplane or something. I mean,
wow.
I will say they were doing a nice job cleaning the airplanes when I just came back from Germany.
Yeah, that's not bad, huh?
That's not a bad thing. Like the little sanitizer wipe as you walk in, also not a bad thing.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My hands, wipe everything down.
Yeah.
I like
Do you
that.
guys remember when they used to, they don't do this anymore going into Australia, but they used to actually fumigate the plane
Yes.
before you got off?
Yeah.
Come through spraying everybody with these wands, and you're kind of like,
Because that's for like ag-borne illnesses, right? Or things like that. Yeah.
like little fruit flies.
Yeah. But
And
you're
you
like
still-
sitting there and it's like you're getting gassed. That's happened to me before. I feel like it's more than Australia.
Well, that
I feel like
explains a
that's
lot about you
happened
too.
in other places as well. But
Weird,
yeah,
I
No, I
never
don't
had
recall that. Yeah.
you don't recall that? Yeah.
No,
Mm.
I've spilled lots of gas on the plane, but not that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fumigation by the diesel or the jet fuel.
Yeah. And the gassy people sometimes.
Mhm.
Ooh, that's why I've been wearing a mask for a long time.
There's somebody or Dawn, somebody's
just
pointing
scratching my
at you.
shoulder.
Hey, I walked behind a horse today and I was like, really? Like, I mean, it was so long and their butts are as high as your head. So it's even different from a horse to a human. I was like, Annika, are you done now? Because
That's a fine smell though. The smell of horse poop and leathers. Awesome.
I don't mind horse poop. I didn't stick around for the horse gas.
Those are great too.
I was a little late to this party, but on Twitter and on social media, this whole thread is making the rounds. It's like a 2-year-old thread about how formidable hippopotami are. And so apparently one thing the hippopotamus does is like there's all these videos and all these memes of like basically hippo being attacked by lions and it just keeps trudging on, or it, like,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
a rhinoceros or whatever. And then people kept adding like more and more information about hippos. And one fun fact is apparently they take a crap and like shit on their little tail. It's like their little propeller tail is basically the saying, stay out of my this is my turf. And then they crap on it and fling their shit around as a way of their territory. So apparently you really don't want to walk behind a hippo.
Wow.
It's like one of the first I saw on social media this morning. I'm like, oh my God, the hippo, who knew?
I did not know that. Thank you.
Another reason to avoid hippos.
Yes, one more reason.
They will bite your arm off and they will helicopter.
Oh, goodness. Okay,
Fun
well,
fact.
shall we
Thanks,
get
Astrid.
started?
Maybe
Sure.
sports.
On that note.
My work here is done.
Uh,